Good afternoon. I'm calling the Neighborhood and Education Committee to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Candelas.
Here.
Torres. Duan.
Here.
Vice Chair Ortiz. Chair Davis.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're on to item B, review of work plan. There are two items that are requested for deferral. I believe they're both audits and they are not ready yet. So I'm looking for a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes, so we will defer those two items. The San Jose Animal Care and Services Audit Report will be moved to November, and the Access to and Use of Neighborhood Blight Programs will be moved to December. And we're on to the consent calendar, which has one item, the Senior Commission and Parks and Recreation Commission work plans.
I'll move approval of the consent calendar. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I'm just realizing that I have not called for any public comment. Was there any public comment on any of those items?
We had no public comment.
Okay, thank you. So we are moving on to reports to committee. Item D1 is the Consolidated Annual Homelessness Report and Implementation Plan Status Report. And we've got Eric and Omar and lots of other people coming down to the box.
Chair, give us just a second to get situated. Good afternoon, Chair Davis, members of the committee. My name is Omar Passons. I am the Deputy City Manager for Homelessness and Executive Sponsor for the Reducing Unsheltered Homelessness Focus Area. I'm joined today by Jerry Retner, from the Assistant to the City Manager, Eric Sullivan, Housing Department Director, Andrea Flores-Shelton, Assistant Director of the Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services Department, and Rick Scott, Assistant Director of the Department of Transportation. They'll be able to introduce themselves shortly. Let's see. The homelessness crisis is one of the most significant challenges our city faces, and has been identified by the mayor and city council as among the highest priorities for focus and attention of our city. In the past, different departments reported separately on homelessness-related efforts. Now we've unified these efforts in two key documents to provide a clearer, more comprehensive picture of the city's response. First, the Consolidated Annual Homelessness Report presents work across multiple departments and focuses on two key areas. What has the city accomplished in the last fiscal year in specific areas and progress, planning for executing city council and other work priorities of some of the key departments. Second, the annual implementation plan update reports on this council's direction excuse me, of our homelessness vision, a San Jose for everyone, tied to the regional community plan to end homelessness. As a reminder, cities throughout Santa Clara County committed to adopting specific implementation plans to describe our commitments to help achieve the community plan's objectives. Our regional partners will be convening stakeholders to begin the development of the next community plan later this fall. We have consolidated this reporting for the same reason that we have further integrated our cross-departmental work over the last 2 years. For our city to function as an integrated system, we need to view our work as part of an interdependent whole that functions as one team. Let's see here. There we go. Before we begin, it's useful to understand how the components we will talk about today fit together at a high level. This largest circle, the large green circle, it represents the universe of our total efforts around homelessness. This is the level of the Consolidated Annual Homelessness Report. but also includes much of the work that's in the implementation plan update. This level includes efforts that prevent and end homelessness, but also many city-specific efforts that relate to managing the impacts of homelessness in our community. There are several aspects of work that a city government has to do around first response, environmental protection, et cetera, that are specific to cities and outside or in addition to the work that is in the regional community plan. That's why that is represented in that way. The middle circle represents the implementation plan update. That's that sort of light blue. This is directly tied to that regional community plan and is focused on implementing the strategies of that plan. It is a critical part of the city's work together with our regional partners. The most inner circle represents the focus area scrum team, which I'll describe in more detail momentarily. It represents council direction and the city's most concentrated efforts directed specifically at a narrow but impactful set of efforts to reduce unsheltered homelessness and manage some of the more specific impacts. The next couple slides focus on the inner circle, and then I'll turn it over to Eric at that point. Although the homelessness crisis demands broad effort across multiple departments and deep work with our regional supportive housing system partners, we know that the city must focus attention on critical elements first. So while the approach presented in the consolidated report and the implementation plan update present a broad picture, before we get to those, we want to clarify that the administration further focused and refined its approach in 2024 to maximize delivery on these key council priorities. This included reprioritizing and expanding the number of city staff focused on executing the work, and it also involved adapting methodologies from the technology world to drive execution and accountability, including the use of Agile and Scrum and concepts, anyway, borrowed from the incident command system. As part of this Agile approach, the administration established specific annual objectives, which you see on the slide before you, as measured by quarterly key results, or OKRs. These OKRs are concentrated on the council-directed subset of the overall body of work that the city does on homelessness, which, as you all know, is vast. This slide lists those 4 annual objectives, and that's where that hyper-focus is. For each annual objectives, there are several key results, quarterly milestones that the administration tracks on a 2-week sprint cadence to ensure that we're staying on track. Just to put you in a mind space, if you think about running a marathon, at least I would not just run out and go run a marathon tomorrow, right? There are some intermeeting steps that you would need to do. Maybe plan to run 1 mile, then maybe plan to run 5 miles, increase your flexibility so you don't get injured. And if you hit those milestones along the way, those key results along the way, by the end, you'll be able to run a marathon. That's effectively what this OKR process is designed to do. Now, I want to be really clear on this next slide. Don't obsess over the individual pieces. There's a ton of information. Don't like to do text-heavy slides, but there are a couple key points. First, these 28 key results were created by cross-departmental teams because tracking them helps us know that we are on track towards those annual objectives, where we are close and where we may be falling behind or need course correction. In just the first quarter, the team completed over 800 specific execution steps underlying those 28 key results. Second, while green, you'll notice there's a little sort of color coding along the sides of each of those 4 columns. While green is obviously good, saying we're on track, red and yellow are nearly just as good because they show 2 things. Most importantly, this tells us that the teams are comfortable being honest about progress and challenges. We need the safety and trust of staff to know that they can be direct, not just when something is going well, but when a course correction or challenge exists, when we need more resources, that sort of thing. In addition, seeing areas that are struggling in real time gives us a chance to dive into the root causes, make changes, et cetera. And third, these key results are dynamic from one quarter to the next. Working with department directors, working with across our departments, we're able to reevaluate as we move along, change resources, change course when necessary, when additional information or new information emerges. This slide can't cover every aspect of that Agile methodology, and it's not intended to. Now what I'd like to do is turn it over to 3 key departmental leaders who are driving important bodies of work related to overall execution for these objectives and the reducing unsheltered homelessness focus area in addition to substantial other bodies of work that are beyond the scope of today's conversation. We'll start with Eric Sullivan, Director of the Housing Department.
Thank you, Omar. So Eric Sullivan, Director of Housing. And so what I'll go through today in these brief slides, building on the coordination across the department's work that Omar has led, and then transitioning that into what does execution for within the housing department look like with this target of trying to resolve our unsheltered homelessness. And then specifically within this model that I will go through is how do we build on the successes of the past? How do we assess the existing council directives? And then how do we focus a strategy for execution in order to bring online more supply of shelter and housing options to meet our demands within the unsheltered population in San Jose? And so what I'm going to refer to here very briefly is just talk through a couple of slides that highlights the implementation strategy for the work within the department, bringing in the work around the scrum, coordinating our work with our department colleagues across the way, as well as ways in which within the department we're going to begin integrating our different divisions in order to ensure we can quickly move forward in creating more supply to meet our unsheltered demand. And so this first slide really talks through sort of what is the overall theory of this. So when we think about housing and shelter capacity, we think about it in sort of two parlances. The first is for our voluntary, when someone comes into the market, they graduate from college or high school and they're looking for their first housing option, they're looking at two options. What units are available, and are those units available within my price range? And then as they go throughout life, they transfer into different units, going from renting to owning, going from first homes to second homes, and moving forward. When we take that same theory of transference and we apply that to how do we solve our unsheltered problem, we're adding an additional component to that. In addition to sort of what is the availability of units, we divide that units out into two sides. What's the availability of immediate shelter, plus services that we can provide on a wraparound basis to transition individuals into housing. And then how do we provide that integration of shelter, services, and housing and getting to our ultimate end goal here of resolving our unsheltered population and bringing them indoors. So as we begin to think about this model and we look at the housing department across the way, the way in which we're beginning to frame up our execution of this work, again, taking our work around the Scrum process, as Omar had mentioned, bringing in and coordinating our work across the different departments, is let's understand what is the problem we're looking to solve for. So what this chart represents is a visualization of how we think about the work to transition individuals who are unsheltered through our housing continuum. This has been brought up through many times in prior discussions with council, and now what we've done is in looking at the various divisions within the housing department that touch homelessness response. Cupid Alexander leads our division of homelessness response, but it very much tethers to our other divisions around real estate development, tethers to our work around grants and utilization, because at each part in this continuum, as we're looking to transfer individuals through, we have activities and investments. So to the first two arrows that are pointing out, this is our work around prevention. How do we ensure that we're not having more inflow of individuals and families into our unsheltered population and into our unhomeless population? And the department makes investments over $15 to $20 million a year, leveraging resources with the county and other partners to provide direct, immediate, as an example, rental assistance, or provide intensive services, or look at eviction diversion in order to mitigate the inflow of new individuals coming into our unsheltered population. The second arrow to the left is around preservation of units. One of the key parts as we look at ways in which we provide transference from shelter plus services and into housing is once they get housed, how are we then preserving those units? One of the larger challenges we experience here in this city is that as more and more units age and come out of LIHTC compliance at their end of their 15 years, come out of their restrictions around our rent stabilization program, we lose those units to affordability. So where do we find ways to preserve that affordability so there is more active investments around, again, keeping less individuals coming into the flow of unsheltered? Then as we go through the continuum, the next 3 arrows really point to the work that's at the core of what we do around homelessness response, which is looking at our lived-in vehicles, our encampment resolutions, our outreach, individuals on sidewalks, living in RVs. That we have a world of demand there that through the point-in-time surveys, through other data collections, we have a sense of what that number is. And that is the number we're looking to solve for, that demand for unsheltered population through our supply of various forms of shelter provision. And that shelter provision, moving forward through the continuum, can take many forms. It can look at options provided by the county through board and care beds. It can look at options provided by the county in coordination with the city, as in our congregate shelters. It can look at the work that we do within our own system of delivery around safe parking, soon to be safe sleeping sites, and then moving forward into our interim housing portfolio, to which we have now over 500 units, growing to another 700 plus units in the coming months. So we're beginning to balance out this supply of shelter and housing resources integrated with services to ensure we can transfer the maximum and efficiency of individuals who are unsheltered through the system. And that's how we begin to think through what is the ultimate solution and begin to target a number of, here's the ultimate supply that we need to resolve our unsheltered population, providing a landing spot across the city in all of our districts to meet that demand with a supply of shelter and housing in order to transition more individuals into housing stability. So throughout each stage of this housing continuum, we're identifying where do we align our investments in prevention, in preservation, in our outreach and engagement, and then through our various supply points in safe parking, in safe sleeping work, in interim housing, in congregate housing. How do we leverage our dollars with the county and with private partners in order to maximize that supply to meet our unsheltered demand? So then as we think through how do we then execute this, the next slide here goes into more details of what I had mentioned regarding understanding what that demand is. So our focus here is not on global homelessness. That is a very complicated problem. We absolutely want to end homelessness. But right now, what we're particularly focused on and what this strategy seeks to execute is particularly within our unsheltered population, because that is a population who, as Omar had mentioned, is in our encampments, is living on sidewalks, living in lived-in vehicles. How do we best understand that number of demand to then solve for with creating more supply, to solve by having landing spots in shelter and in housing? And so once we're able to meet that challenge, then there's opportunity to begin focus on our larger unhoused population, which can take, broadly defined, many forms. It can be individuals who are unhoused because they are, living room to room, individuals who are unhoused because they are in and out of the system through housing or living with family members. It's a much broader population, much more difficult to get a clean count of that larger unhoused population. So this strategy is really focused on what's the demand within our existing encampments, our lived-in vehicles on sidewalks, our unsheltered population that we're looking to solve for, to provide that immediate supply. So then in understanding that, the next slide here then goes into a bit more detail of how do we then, in looking at this growth of supply, combine that work around shelter services and push through to housing. And this is where we get into the different combinations of the different supply sets that I had mentioned. Oh, sorry, back one, sorry. There we go. So the different combinations of supply sets. So as we think through safe parking, our interim housing sites, as we think through our How are we going to utilize safe sleeping sites? How do we build on existing systems within our congregate sheltering system, sort of mass amounts of people in single spaces and integration of services? We start dissecting those various options, and as Omar had articulated at the top of the show, we took those 28 and we say, where does this fall within this continuum, and how quickly can we deliver them? And in delivering of that supply, where does that land in moving the individuals through the housing continuum? So as we think about congregate plus services, what is the option based on historic trends that gets to a high probability of moving those families or individuals into settled housing? What is the general costing of that? So to the left of this chart, you'll see high density plus speed and capital. That's what congregate provides. It's not individualized. It's bringing a lot of individuals indoors. We have 7 congregate shelters that the county runs within the city of San Jose, and we have mixed results in terms of pushing those individuals through into more permanent housing. If we look at congregate sheltering that's provided with limited services, as an example, during extreme weather periods and over the winter months, during the rainy seasons, we open up our overnight warming locations. Those are a version of congregate sheltering that we provide to bring individuals indoors, but they're not necessarily integrated into services. So we're not transitioning more individuals into stabilized housing, or more bringing them indoors for a temporary period. Compare that to how do we look at our non-congregate type work. As an example, our interim housing locations, where there are individual units, some of them with bathrooms integrated. The way we deliver that service is that we're able to land individuals at our tiny home communities throughout the city, provide very intensive integrated services at a higher capital and operating cost, but we're getting to a much higher transference, over 40%, into permanent housing solutions through that option, as opposed to some of our non-congregate services where we don't have necessarily integrated service into it, where you're providing more of a shelter base and a temporary landing spot. Think of our interim housing portfolio in sort of 2 lanes. One lane that provides, as an example, Rue Ferrari or Guadalupe, where you have integrated bathrooms, very intensive services, more communal meal spaces. We have residents there who are more long-term, as opposed to some of our other sites where it is smaller units, no integrated bathrooms, less intensive services, and they're more there on a temporary basis. So we're thinking about the portfolio more holistically as we identify ways in which to better meet this demand by providing that variety of supply options. And so lastly, as we build out this portfolio, one of the key focus points is how do we understand how do we pay for it? We know that the cost of building a permanent supportive housing unit from the ground up that the city invests in through our affordable housing funding program costs on average up to $900,000 per unit. As an alternative, in building an interim housing site, as an example, Rue Ferrari, where we just started construction, Matt and his team, of 100 more units, and Public Works, those are roughly $300,000 a unit. So you're getting a substantially different cost value for a different type of product, but it's adding both a permanent option as well as an option to move individuals into much more quickly, because your speed time for delivering that modular unit, as opposed to a more traditional PSH unit, is far less. So as we look at the portfolio overall, we're thinking through these considerations and seeing how do we bring together a much more comprehensive set of supply options for the council mayor to say, let's move on this set of priorities here so we can solve for our unsheltered population throughout the city. And so we're going to be beginning to perform out these different assets, bringing in our activities and priorities from the Scrum process that Omar had mentioned, integrating that work that we do with PRNS and Public Works, so that as we have the various touch points with our unsheltered population, we're able to gather that data to better refine what is the demand components, and then be able to identify much more specifically, what's the different types of supply of shelter and housing we want to bring online, given the speed, given our needs around resolving the waterways and our commitments to the water board to resolve these issues? How do we make the best and most strategic decisions to move the work forward and resolve for our unsheltered population? And so the last slide really just talks through this alignment of demand to supply, balancing, optimizing, planning, and managing the entire portfolio to get to a clear resolution and providing a maximum of options for council to consider about ways in which we build out, invest, and continue to operate our supply options better integrated with the county, as well as providing a clearer path for public-private partnerships to build more private investments into this portfolio. And that's how we're beginning to think through these options and then integrating our work within the department to drive this action forward to maximize supply. And so that's a theory of how we're going to be looking to maximize this work. And I'm going to turn it over to the next slide to my partner here.
Thank you, Eric. Andrea Flores-Shelton, Assistant Director of Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services. I think many of you are familiar with the Beautify SJ Encampment Management Program, the portfolio of services that we've grown quickly over the last couple years to meet both council and community expectations. While we've been growing and bringing on more services, we have also been working with the Information Technology Department to develop an encampment response coordination system. This was launched in February of 2024 to better deliver, coordinate, and assess services and resources provided to residents in encampments. We've been focused on developing a system that allows anyone to easily report the location and condition of an encampment through the web-based form. We've been increasing service delivery coordination between Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services, Beautify SJ team, and the Housing Department to better provide human services and sanitation, and developing the data tracking and infrastructure needed to further enhance the reporting system in Phase 2. Phase 2 will kick off in 2025, where we will start focusing on incorporating additional city departments into the encampment response coordination system and explore data integration with external partners. In terms of last year's encampment service results, you'll see on the slide some of the key items from the report. You'll see that there were 298 abatements, which is up from 4% from the previous year. And we also have our first full year of bio-waste removal results with over 100,000 pounds removed and disposed of. And we also exceeded by 14 the number of Cash for Trash participants who are strong collaborators with our staff in improving the cleanliness of the city. I also just want to point out that this year we'll be looking to expand the bio-waste services that we call RVP3 for the pollution prevention program. We're expanding from 150 services to 600 services this year. So again, the growth of BSJ continues. We'll be looking to update our good neighbor policy, and as you know, the no return zones will also expand as EIHs come online and we go through practicing abatement, clearing, and holding those areas. And finally, we continue to, for those encampments that can remain and are a part of the good neighbor policy and adhering to it, we will continue to provide trash services, and we'll be bringing on, we have brought on through the adopted budget more resources to add an additional 40 encampments. So again, we're focused on the cleanliness of the city, servicing those unsheltered residents and who are, we're looking to partner with, and then as demanded or as meets criteria, we will abate those areas and start really this year in learning to clear and hold and do enforcement of those areas. I'll now turn it over to Rick Scott.
Thanks, Andrea. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Rick Scott, Assistant Director of DOT. And so we're happy to be a part of this work stream now. There is in the 2024-25 adopted budget, the first oversized vehicle regulation pilot program was approved via MBA number 16, and we've been around to your various council offices to discuss this in the past. The purpose of this program is to really try to take a first step at addressing the lived-in vehicles problem, an issue that Eric brought up. And the strategy that the department has adopted with its partners is to identify areas impacted by oversized and lived-in vehicles parked on city streets, and we're doing that currently. We have staff driving the entire city, taking inventory, taking stock as to what is out there and the relative conditions of different areas. And you can see that snapshot to the left there shows our current printout as of Monday. After we collect the data, analyze it, and come up with some strategies to implement temporary and permanent restrictions, that is the next phase to try to clear areas, and it'll assist with the cleanup of impacted areas. In this current fiscal year, we expect to be able to clean 30 sites, and on an ongoing basis, this is now an ongoing program, we'll be able to do 50 sites each fiscal year after that. Below the last bullet there, you see our plan of actions and milestones, so the staff is well underway on the assessment phase of this exercise. We've also begun hiring. We've made, I think, 2 or 3 hires so far, so we are well on our way to be able to start delivering actual site cleanups and visits in January at the latest. So with that, I think we'll pass it back to Omar for final remarks and questions.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. And I'll just say, as a city, we do recognize that there is considerably more we need to do. Nobody on this dais or in the well here, none of our colleagues, we all understand that there's more to do. And we want to make sure that you're aware of the range of efforts that are pushing us forward. And so the last thing that I want to say before we wrap up for questions is that we couldn't cover everything we do. We couldn't tell you in everything that the library, for example, we told you before, they are literally standing up in partnership with our supportive housing system, My Connect SV kiosks in libraries so that unhoused residents that are living outside, that are actually unsheltered, can connect to themselves to resources. Our San Jose Police Department, there's a lot of talk about how the different roles people play. They are partnering with the District Attorney's Office, Public Defender's Office, and others in their Alternatives to Incarceration work group to launch a local pop-up collaboration to help unhoused residents navigate the judicial process and remove barriers to housing. And they're also partnering to support connecting unhoused individuals who need substance use support to the Mission Street Recovery Center instead of being taken into custody when that's appropriate. Those are just a few. There are many, many more. I'll stop there and just say we appreciate the time to share this information with you and are available for questions.
Thank you all for the presentation and all of the information in the 2 reports, which total over 50 pages. There's clearly a lot more. Do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment.
Okay, I'll go to my colleagues. Councilmember Dwan.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, staff, for the report. I've just got a few questions. Now, recently, during the discussion with the Monterey Corridor Business Association, we have heard from businesses and constituent cleanliness is one of the root of majority of the issue that they're having. Would staff speak to the effort addressing cleanliness of the city dumping bio-waste impact from the unsheltered crisis? And what relief can businesses owner expect to see soon?
Thank you, Councilmember Dwan. As noted, the adopted budget did increase our ability to move from 150 RVs being serviced on a regular basis up to 600. We've also been able to expand our equipment so that we can more efficiently and quickly dispose of bio-waste. So I think the Monterey Corridor should expect and should see improvements, and we'll be happy to reach out and discuss that with those businesses.
Thank you. And this question to Eric, I know that we got Rue de Ferrari coming up, and there's so many space available. But is that completion, when is the completion on that, Rue DeFari?
The expected completion for Ferrari is roughly October of this time next year,
Okay, so it's 1 year out.
about a year out. Yeah.
And so in the meantime, we still have about 4,800 unsheltered residents. That's not including the number of residents who's couch surfing, if you will. So I expect the number is a lot higher than that. And I understand you're talking about congregated shelter with service, without service, and so on. How much of a process, or what do we need to do to move that forward so we can get the unsheltered resident off the street in order to go from step 1 through 10, from being out in the street to a temporary shelter, to be able to work their way up to somewhat of a permanent shelter. But before that, we have to collaborate, obviously, with the county, with the wraparound services, right? To provide them with dignity, respect, safety, mental illness, drug addiction. And I think the key is about job training, job placement, mentoringship, to make sure that person is successful when they get to that point of permanent shelter where they can continue that, until their retirement. So my question is what is the plan? What is the option that you're looking at?
So there are a number of options, and as Omar had alluded to, part of the Scrum process that we're going through is how do we speed up the delivery of those various options to provide more supply to meet that demand of our unsheltered population. And so that can take any of 3 forms. One is, as you had mentioned, where do we look at congregate shelters that take a little more time or a higher capital to build out, but are lower operating costs, and if you integrate services, can have really good throughput and moving individuals to more permanent housing solutions. 2 is where do we look at the utilization, as an example of safe sleeping sites? How do we provide that as a navigation landing spot for individuals within the local area, providing a clearing of encampments in the immediate area, and then pushing individuals through to the number of interim housing sites that we have coming online through Ferrari plus Cherry, Cerrone, Via del Oro, we can Monterey, Brenham. We can go through hundreds of units that are going to be coming online in the coming year from now on through July 25th. Where do we provide that navigation, intensive cage management services through that supply option? And then the third option is, as we have these points of engagement with our unsheltered population, where can we provide some of that counseling and connection to the existing services? What's capacity within the existing systems, our system, the county system, in order to bring that data set together? And I know that's some of the work that we're doing today throughout the Scrum process, so that we know that, there's available beds tonight. As we're doing these engagements with our encampments, here's an option to go indoors today. So it takes many forms, and I think depending on the push and pull of the various supply options, we can move pretty aggressively, particularly coordinated through the Scrum process, to bring on those various types of supply online as quickly as we can.
So as we clear our waterways and no return zone, we will need those immediate temporary shelter to go up to accommodate their unsheltered residents to be in there. I have a question for Rick. We have a lot of towing companies now refuse to tow RVs. And because 1, they don't have the capacity for storage. 2, they don't have the capacity to recycle. And recycling meaning that's including removal of hazardous material, bio-waste, before you can recycle the RV itself. What are your plans to address that?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Dewan. This is definitely a citywide issue. There will be a new vendor coming online shortly that changes the model where the city doesn't have to interact directly with the vendors anymore. There'll be a middleman that can help identify that with stronger language in the contract for liquidated damages to ensure that the companies are meeting their obligations. There is a multi-departmental task force that I think PD is heading, but we're all a part of that conversation, so it's definitely a problem we're aware of and working with. And just kind of at a smaller level, I mentioned NBA number 16, from a resource perspective, it's a lot, it's not enough. This is a major issue, the vehicles throughout the city, but there is some funding allocated in that pilot program to permanently take some of these vehicles off the street. We don't know exactly what that'll look like yet, but I just mentioned basically 3 different parts of a strategy that could alleviate some of those issues.
Have you looked at any city properties in order to help these towing company for storage, right? For example, we got 90 acres right now we're not using. Let's say we don't have to, remediate it. We just for storage and find somewhere we can recycle.
Yeah, Councilmember Dwellin, thank you. Yeah, Omar Passon's here. We mentioned that scrum process. We have a real estate team that has looked at a number of properties. You might recall on June 18th, we actually brought a few here. The council was not super high on all of the ones on that list, I'll just say. So there is an ongoing push to try to figure out places where people can appropriately be with their RVs while we, as Eric pointed out, connect them to appropriate services. It's just, you understand this, we've had this conversation. We're really pushing to find locations, and we haven't had as many successes yet in finding those locations.
Right, we're talking about storage. We're not talking about a place where people can live in an RV. So we would be very clear of that, right? A storage place doesn't need to be remediated. It's actually a place where we can get RVs that have been towed in violation of the law that's allow the unsheltered to retake that a certain amount of times, or we're going to have to recycle it. And that's a 2 different formulation that we have to look at. So anyway, thank you so much. And I know it's extremely difficult, and we have to use multi-prongs to address every single issues that we can. I move to accept the report with cross-reference to November 5th, 2024.
Thank you. Before I call on Councilmember Candelas, Omar, would you like to discuss the RV issue a little bit more? I don't know that we have RVs that are abandoned so much that RVs that are lived in, and towing them just gives us more unsheltered homeless people, right?
Yeah, Chair Davis, it's a good point that you raised. There are scenarios where a tow is unfortunately appropriate due to some sort of a violation, and we're aware of those. I think I would say your point is well taken, that there are most of the issues that we're facing are people who are actually living in those vehicles. And so as the Department of Transportation pointed out when we came to council earlier this year, that the process of towing can just create more challenges. And so we're aware of that situation, while also I would just say to Councilmember Dwan's point, for the ones where there is a place where we actually have a lawful tow, we are also looking at different properties to try to expand the storage capacity. We just aren't there yet.
Thank you. Councilmember Candelas?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I appreciate staff's report and the work we're building up to our response to this crisis. I do want to uplift the work that staff is doing, especially, it's complicated, and I don't want anybody to tell us otherwise. The consolidation and efficacy of our new reporting methodology is something I'm excited about as a policy nerd. But ultimately, I think combining new policy with effective outreach and robust services is going to help lead us into a pathway where we can, get a grip on the magnitude of this crisis. I see homelessness in my district, including the lived-in RVs, and I hear about it a lot from residents. Yes, in District 8, we have folks who are unhoused. And I think we all have seen the rise in homelessness across our city, but I think we all have to lean in on that in order for us to make progress. So that being said, I do have a couple questions. One is regards to the Beautify SJ encampment management program reporting tool. Do we have plans to integrate that into the 311 app? Because as of right now, I think it's a standalone like portal through our web, through just the internet. And I was wondering if we have plans to integrate that into the reporting tool and consolidating those systems.
Councilmember, thank you. It was designed outside of 311 intentionally. Many of the 311 services, if you think about graffiti, if you think about illegal dumping, it's a work order. It's something's there, we want it taken down, we go out, we take it down, it's closed. The complexity that you discuss with encampment management, it's very different. It's very different, and there's a human element to it that we can't control, and so therefore that is why there's intentionally been a system created outside of 311. In discussions with Councilmember Dawn and others, could we on 311 push people and tell people, if you want to go report an encampment, go here and then go into the system? We could probably use some education and some information in 311 to push them into, but it's a very different system, and it's also about the platform and the data analytics behind it that 311 does not host. So, and that's an ITD answer that I'm not set, but I do see from a customer standpoint the ease of it, right? And so we are trying to figure out how we can make it sort of more upfront for people so they can find it.
And one, Councilmember Candelas, thanks for that, Andrea. And that gives you some of the practical operational challenge. If you look on page 22 of the Consolidated Annual Homelessness Report, when you get a chance, what you'll see is a reference to a data lake and the potential for figuring out how to make that process easier, acknowledging all of these points that Andrea just made for the practical operations. But I just wanted you to know that is something that, as Andrea mentioned, ITD, together with our cross-departmental teams, are figuring out.
Right, and I appreciate that. While our residents don't necessarily they understand the problem, but for me, we're trying to push this 311 as our one-stop shop with city services. I think it would be prudent for us, while it may not be the portal, there's not even a mention on the 311 app for homelessness. I think you can look it up and you can queue your way through it, but if it was an icon that maybe even redirects you, as simple as that sounds, to acknowledge that, just so we can tell residents, hey, go through the app, instead of, because right now we say, go on the website, try to navigate it, or email us and email, you see what I'm saying? I think with regards to providing good customer service, we should be striving to make it as easy as possible for our residents, already frustrated enough that there's somebody, living in front of their house or on their sidewalk, to make it easier for us to be able to even try to tackle or comprehend. Granted, that's the purpose of my office and purposes of our office of providing constituent services. But I want to challenge staff to see how we can improve that customer service protocol to make it less onerous on the resident and more efficient, if you will. Does that make sense?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. And then the second is regarding the RV oversized vehicles inventory map. Do we have plans of making that available to the broader public, to make it like an online dashboard type of thing so we can reference, and if so, when?
Yeah, that's our intention. I don't have a firm timeline on that. It is top of our list, definitely this fiscal year, probably as we start executing some of our actions, there'll be something that'll be made public for people to see.
Okay.
The intention ultimately is for people to be able to understand what the conditions are, see photos maybe before and after, and get a general sense of where a site is on the prioritization. That's kind of the high level vision. It's just with that kind of stuff, it's the mechanics and actually developing it and the kinks and stuff like that we got to work through.
Yeah, and that's fair, but I think it also helps paint a picture for certain folks, saying, all right, well, we have RVs here, but in the grand scheme of things, I think getting that out, I think it's important. And you mean to tell me, Rick, that we can't get this out the door next week? No, just kidding. We're already having an issue with the stolen copper wires on the street lights. So But I appreciate that. My point was letting residents know that, hey, this is going to be coming is also an important step. That way we can educate as well. And then lastly, my question is, I've seen some pushback in my inbox regarding some of the safe sleeping site locations. And so with regards to community engagement and or community pushback, how do we see that as a component to maybe delaying some of our workflows and our timelines that we are setting for ourselves with regards to the 1,000 units that we're looking to expand in our comprehensive portfolio of interim housing or temporary housing strategies?
So as we look at community engagement as a vital part, and this evening there's a continuing of that community engagement regarding the Taylor Street site, we're going to start building that into sort of our scheduling and our planning. And as we refine what is the type of operation that's going to go on those sites and how does that integrate into the larger system delivery that we have, and we have a clear question, how do we then trigger that comprehensive engagement around with community to hear that input? And a similar approach will be taking this evening of, here's our idea, here's how this component, what's your reaction to it, what are the pain points within the community that we can address to ensure that the operation at the site is responding to those pain points and also integrates into the larger system of supply that we're looking to bring on.
Great, and
Sorry, Councilmember, I would just add, although we do look forward to working with District 8, I'll just say, as it relates to Chair Davis and the other districts where we have had prior efforts in, we do get in early and deep on community engagement, much the way Eric will be doing tonight with folks. And so we have a track record of that early engagement so that it will minimize any delay in terms of impact on scheduling. And actually, Council on June 18th gave the city additional flexibility to be able to accelerate those processes. So we are doing everything, I think, in our power and really working together with Council on creating space to move quickly.
No, I appreciate that, but I think the importance of that is not shortcutting any genuine community engagement and or community conversations for the sake of, efficacy. Well, yes, it's a delicate balance, but I want to make sure that our community, our neighbors, are well heard. So I wanted to just throw that for staff to consider, and I appreciate the variable that needs to be in order for us to tangibly measure, like, hey, this is what we hope to accomplish, even with whatever pushback we anticipate or not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I appreciate my colleagues' comments and share many of their concerns. I just want to lift a couple of them up. Having a reporting system outside of 311, while I understand it makes sense in terms of not being able to close a work order, I wholeheartedly agree with Councilmember Candelas' view that the easiest thing for us to do is to talk about the 311 app. When something is not on 311, that's when people call into our office or email into our office irate that they don't know how to report it and how things are going to get resolved. I do think even if it's a redirect on the app, that's the way to go, and the sooner that we can do that, the better, because people don't necessarily know how to report, or if they do, they don't know what the feedback loop is going to be. So I just wanted to chime in on that one. I also agree with the community engagement piece, and this is something the housing department knows I feel very strongly about, and it's something that is not just required early, but also often and throughout the process. And it actually provides, I think, a very useful feedback loop for the housing department about how a site is actually being managed and run and integrating into the neighborhood, because I've had CACs that have started up and they've had a lot of activity and engagement, and as that activity and engagement tends to drop off, it's because people are satisfied with how things are going and don't feel like they need to give input. We haven't seen that in one of my CACs, and it is commensurate with staff's staff's assessment that that site is not going well and that things are not being run as we would have anticipated or liked. So I do think that the community engagement piece is a really critical piece to this work. And it's also, it's not just critical to each individual site, but it's critical to the future of doing sites either similarly or different throughout the community. I do think that having the maps available for about encampments as we do, about lived-in vehicles as we're moving toward, we just saw today, I think it's really an important tool for us because we often hear from neighbors in the first meetings about a site. Why do we have to have this site in our neighborhood? Who else, why aren't other districts doing their fair share, et cetera, or other neighborhoods doing their fair share? You don't see this in insert name of nice neighborhood here. And the maps are really important, I think, a tool for us in terms of, hey, everybody's feeling these impacts. It's not just you, it's all over the city. And by the way, if you think you're the worst, we would never say this, but it's a nice visual of, if you think you're the worst, you're probably not. Anyway, so that is all to say, I appreciate the maps and the visuals of this presentation as well. And Omar, from yesterday that excuse me, the city efforts and the city reports and what is being covered, I think that's a really helpful slide for us. It's really nice to have this comprehensive view of what we're doing all at one time. We used to get this in dribs and drabs and individual reports about, lived-in vehicles or how we're cleaning up, and it's really, really helpful for us to get, and also for us to be able to communicate to the community, hey, this is all of the work we're doing, or this is the bulk of the work that we're doing, to your point, Omar, that it's not every single thing. And then I also appreciated the new visual on the housing continuum. That was really, really helpful to see kind of what bucket we're talking about and what buckets we're not talking about today, but are still important to the overall conversation about aligning demand and supply. And I want to lift that up as well, that we cannot lose sight of the fact that when we're talking about emergency, whether it's congregate shelter, emergency interim housing, that little slice that we're looking at, we really cannot in any conversation lose sight of the fact that if we put all of our eggs in that bucket, we're missing a larger part of the story that will not allow us to end homelessness. And I think it's really, really easy to say the most important thing is to just get people off the streets and get them some services and get them get them a roof over their head. That is the most important thing, but it's just like if you only bought groceries and you didn't pay your rent, or you only paid your rent and couldn't buy groceries. You have to do all of the things so that we can actually get to a long-term stability as opposed to short-term stability. So I really appreciate that, that point being made as well today. Thank you all. I, again, really appreciate not just the report, but the fact that we have so many departments coming together and really understanding what the role of each department is in solving this homelessness crisis and also the housing supply problem. Thank you. Can we take a vote? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Aye. All right, that motion carries. Thanks. So we can move on now to item D2, the Beautify SJ Neighborhood Blight Reduction Status Report. And that is Olympia and team.
Good afternoon, Chair Davis and Council Committee members. My name is Olympia Williams, and I am the Interim Deputy Director for the Community Services Division. Today, I have Aurelia Bailey, Interim Division Manager for Beautify SJ, Hilda Morales, Program Manager for the Neighborhood Blight Reduction Programs, and Jamie Marcel, Program Manager for our Interagency and Waterways Programs with me. Today's presentation on the Beautify SJ neighborhood blight reduction efforts will focus on work that the teams do daily to enhance the quality of life and neighborhood livability for all residents, businesses, and those who visit our city. I will now turn it over to Hilda to begin the presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair and Council members. My name is Hilda Morales, Program Manager for the Blight Reduction Program with Beautify SJ. For today's presentation, we will highlight the Beautify SJ expansion, review our approach, highlight program accomplishments, and provide insight into the work that lies ahead. Next slide, please. The city's blight reduction and beautification strategy focuses on working collaboratively with neighborhood associations, schools, businesses, and residents to improve the cleanliness of our public spaces. As you can see, Beautify SJ is split into two areas, the neighborhood blight reduction side and the encampment management side. This presentation will focus on the blight reduction services only. Over the past 6 fiscal years, the Beautify SJ division has grown from 16.5 FTEs to 111 FTEs. Of those 111 staff, 42 full-time staff support the blight reduction programs, which include the litter removal, neighborhood beautification and engagement, clean gateways, the rapid illegal dumping program, and graffiti abatement, which uses the support of GPC, an outside vendor. Next slide, please. The Neighborhood Blight Reduction Program utilizes the 3 E's proven approach, which include education and prevention, eradication, and enforcement. This best practice model is used by several cities in the region and large cities throughout the state of California and the nation. Additionally, Beautify SJ is a member of the Regional Illegal Dumping Task Force and currently sits on the Enforcement Committee. Throughout this presentation, you will see how BSJ utilizes each of the 3 E's to conduct the blight reduction work for the city of San Jose. Next slide, please. As a part of the eradication efforts, last year, the neighborhood blight reduction programs removed over 12 million pounds of trash and debris, which is a 33% increase from the previous year. The graffiti team eradicated almost 3 million square feet of graffiti and addressed almost 2,000 incidents of graffiti on private property by engaging with property managers. On our neighborhood beautification front, the team was able to collaborate with council offices, neighborhood associations, and other partners and stakeholders to successfully host 152 events where a little over 1,400 tons of debris were collected. Next slide, please. Moving on to our rapid program, this team exceeded expectations by completing over 10,000 work orders and collecting a total of 9.5 million pounds of trash and debris. Lastly, through the litter program, BSJ was able to increase engagement by 36% through collaborations and partnerships with schools, community groups, and interjurisdictional partners. These efforts have led to the activation of over 17,000 volunteers. These volunteers collected almost 908,000 pounds of trash and debris. A huge thank you to all of our volunteers who diligently do their part in beautifying San Jose. And now I'd like to pass it over to my colleague, Jamie Marcel. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Chair and Council members. My name is Jamie Marcel, and I am a Beautify San Jose Program Manager. Key partnerships. The Beautify San Jose program is appreciative of all key partnerships, and we maintain communication with partners to address blight concerns citywide. Beautify San Jose works closely with Caltrans, Union Pacific Railroad, Valley Water, and the County of Santa Clara, as well as the 3 community-based organizations that are focused on the cleanup of our waterways. In 2023 to 2024, the city completed the Clean California Maintenance Agreement with Caltrans, removing trash and debris at 29 designated on and off ramps. In the beginning of fiscal year 2024 to 2025, Beautify increased creek partner agreements to $125,000 to increase cleanup efforts in our waterways. Next slide, please. Beautify San Jose continues to promote the Behavior Change campaign and is a call to action for our residents, neighborhoods, and businesses to engage in reducing dumping and blight. Beautify Neighborhood Litter Team engaged 74 schools with over 7,400 students engaged in litter education workshops. In addition to the BSJ Proud campaign, Beautify San Jose signed a 3-year partnership with San Jose Earthquakes to promote the program through advertisement and community events. Next slide, please. Beautify San Jose continues to work closely with code enforcement to perform enforcement actions against illegal dumpers by vetting and forwarding evidence that is submitted by the public. The program continues to implement the use of deterrents such as surveillance cameras in high-volume illegal dump hotspots and installing over 300 no illegal dumping signs. I will now turn it over to Aurelia Bailey.
Thank you, Jamie. Good afternoon, council members and members of the public. My name is Aurelia Bailey, and I am the interim division manager for BSJ. As we look ahead for 24-25, our team will continue to work on the 3 E's: eradication, enforcement, and education. Besides all the programs that Hilda and Jamie already gave an update on, we are currently working on 2 additional key programs to enhance blight reduction, beautification efforts, and community engagement: Clean Gateways and our engagement strategy. Clean Gateways is a proactive strategy aimed at cleaning and maintaining heavily trafficked intersections and corridors that serve as gateways to the city. We are currently focusing our efforts across 11 gateway corridor locations. The second area we're working on is our neighborhood engagement strategy. Last year, we relaunched the annual neighborhood conference in October, which drew nearly 250 attendees. This conference focused on improving quality of life, engagement, and reducing blight. Thanks to our partners such as the San Jose Police Department, Code Enforcement, and Department of Transportation, who led workshops and engaged with neighborhood leaders to better understand their challenges with blight and their respective neighborhood associations. The conference also provided an opportunity for city staff to gather feedback on creating a new neighborhood association engagement model. This model aims to reduce barriers to engaging with the city. We identified capacity building, two-way communication, and issue support as 3 most important purposes of neighborhood association. As a result, staff is focusing this fiscal year on the foundational model by establishing a quarterly neighborhood association forum in addition to the annual neighborhood conference. So, please save the date if you already have not received your invitation. We invite all of you to come to our upcoming neighborhood conference, which will take place here at the Rotunda on Saturday, October 26th. Workshops will be on our neighborhood safety, homelessness, grant opportunities, and community building. Lastly, as you already know, we could not do this work alone, so we would like to acknowledge all our internal and external partners. With that, that ends our presentation, and we will take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this item?
We have 1 speaker card for Ken Brennan. Please make your way down to the podium. You will have 2 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, council members, city staff, and the PRNS staff. My name is Ken Brennan. I'm the Parks and Recreation Commissioner representing District 10. However, I'm speaking here today as a member of the public. I'd like to comment on the Beautify San Jose update. In the update, it states specifically the following: since the initial launch of the Beautify San Jose initiative over 6 years ago, the city's investment in blight reduction services has increased the eradication of graffiti, illegal dumping, and litter in public spaces. However, ongoing challenges persist as the preventive and enforcement efforts are limited and costly, and the influx of blight continues. A proven approach includes the 3 E's: education, eradication, and enforcement. The best practice model to combat blight is used by several cities in the region and large cities throughout the state of California and the nation. Beautify San Jose is a member of the Regional Illegal Dumping Task Force, which is an advocate for utilizing the 3 E's approach. Unfortunately, our city has completely left out the enforcement part of this proven approach, the 3rd E. For context, over the last 9 years, there's been only $187K of fines collected for illegal dumping and littering, averaging only $21,000 a year. We're spending tens of millions of dollars annually and growing, eradicating a growing trash problem, Yet we haven't even collected enough fines to cover the administrative costs of the citation process. The residents of our city think it's common sense to enforce our dumping and littering laws and holding dumpers accountable. I'm not talking about citing a homeless person for littering when they're just trying to get through the day. I'm talking about the small hauler, chronic dumpers who know they can violate the law and pass their costs on to the taxpayers with impunity. I ask this committee to accept.
Thank you. Back to the committee.
Thank you. Councilmember Candelas?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I want to just start off my comments. They're not long, I promise, with a thanks. I know the blight removals, the cleanups, the eradication element of our 3 E's approach is out there, and I know because I've at least done 10 cleanups over that fiscal year, sometimes multiple times, multiple cleanups per day. So now I got a question pertaining to, let's say a neighborhood association wants to do a dumpster day. We coordinate it. We get the dumpsters reserved. Now, most of our neighborhood associations, we have people who aren't able-bodied, and they can't necessarily help because it's very onerous, physically onerous, to be able to activate and help people dump their stuff for a dumpster day, for example. So the concerns I have is with our RPAs and the folks we have to be able to assist. How are we working to ramp that up to be able to assist those neighborhood associations or those dumpster days? Because the way I understand it, we don't know if we're going to have help until a few days before the dumpster day, which puts a bit of a strain on my office, for example, to be able to lend staff or have staff participate and not attend other community functions. So maybe can someone speak to that?
Thank you for the question, council member. So yes, we have RPAs that help us. They typically work part-time on Saturdays and Sundays. Believe it or not, we've had some RPAs with us for nearly 2 decades. That's right. So we've had a recent 3 or 4 folks have retired. We are looking to restaff and get a few more people, but with the increase in dumpster days, they become more popular. We did 152 this past fiscal year, so we're doing dumpster days on Saturdays, on Fridays, and now we're trying out Wednesdays, and we've been successful in all these various days. So we are continuing to try to work with our neighborhood associations so they can help us staff, help people get items into the dumpsters, as well as filling a few more positions for our RPAs. And quite honestly, depending on our council office staff to also assist us where we can.
No, for sure. No, and I appreciate that. I just, bigger picture, I'm hoping we have a process to see how we can improve that rather than a few days before, whether we can or can't commit to RPAs rather than, we'll see who's available, because that's how I feel and that's how my staff relays it to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm just hoping staff can lean in on that while we retool and get some folks, which is, exciting. I think that's what I'd like to see, is something a little bit more etched in stone on a process where we reserve the dumpster days. We can know yes or no, so we can start recruiting community volunteers or neighbors who can participate to come out. Does that make sense? Great. And then the second was something actually Ken touched on, was the third E on the enforcement action. And I'm curious. I don't know if anybody from code enforcement is actually here, but maybe we can can you touch on what kind of process improvements are we making to lean in on that? Because I could do a dumpster day every weekend, and I have a dumpster day list of like 700 people that's growing. Unless we curtail that illegal dumping activity with, the stick, it's a little frustrating, and I could totally see Ken's point. So maybe you can touch on what our plans are and going forward, how we can address that.
So why don't I start? So believe it or not, council member, we actually don't have a person. We have 8 cameras out, but we don't have an individual until this budget year. We'll be hiring someone that can help us. So when someone is captured on our video for illegally dumping, we'll now have a staff person that's dedicated to making sure we get the video footage over to code and make sure they have everything they need for the citation process. I do want to caveat that with, a lot of folks have learned how to illegally dump in our city, unfortunately. We sometimes get people on video where they've covered up the license plate so the license plate reader can't do it, or they know those particular areas or how to park and dump something or find those places to go. So we're looking at a variety of strategies, including enforcement with code, but also ramping up our deterrence. Where do we place deterrence so it's not as easy for people to pull over alongside the road to dump something? Getting signage up so people understand in our city that there is a large fine if you dump, and really trying to educate folks on use the free junk pickup program. You don't have to dump. Come to a neighborhood dumpster day, but then yes, leaning into the third E of enforcement when things do occur.
Right.
And I just wanted to add before Rachel joins is that recently Rick Scott just reached out and told me that one of his folks caught an illegal jumper, like in the act, was able to take a picture, right? We had a license plate on it. And so when that gets sent over, what we want to start doing, and that I just want to give you an example of, like, you know, we do have examples, and what we want to do though is track it all the way through and then make an example of it so that we can then start doing more marketing and outreach about the fact that we do put fines in, we do hold people accountable, so then that also acts as a deterrent, because I think Commissioner Brennan, or Mr. Brennan, you know, makes a good point. We hear this from many people, yep. Right? Is if there is no, you know, consequence, then I'll continue to get away with it. So we just do need to close the loop and make an example out of a few and get the word out. And we want to add that to sort of our deterrent toolbox.
Got it. You have anything, Rachel?
Yeah. So I would just add that, yeah, we don't have an actual person on the code enforcement side dedicated to this effort from a funding and resource perspective, but we have created a direct line that comes straight over from Beautify to us, and my team knows it's a priority. So if we get that referral, we're reviewing it right away and issuing a cite is our goal each and every time. That being said, we also take complaints from the public. So we have more than just the referrals coming in as far as legal dumping, but we are doing that enforcement, you know, once we get that. But I think with those improvements, that should help.
That's great. And I Angel, do you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, in addition to what was said by everybody here, we've also we've convened a couple of meetings with CHP, SJPD, the DA's office, and Sheriff's Department, looking at ways that we could collectively look at enforcement of, right now we're honing in on two specific areas, illegal dumping and graffiti. We got some good traction, we got some good willingness. As you know, most law enforcement agencies right now are very constrained, but what we're looking at is we're looking at hybrid approaches to addressing this, right? Back in the day, we had 2 officers with a full-blown database and the whole 9 yards. We obviously can't do that now, but unless, to your point and to the point of the speaker and others, unless we start really kind of, you know, enforcing, it's going to be hard to kind of drive down the cost, right? But I will say that those initial conversations have gone real well, and we have some things in the works. I'll kind of just keep it at that level for now.
That's fantastic, and thank you for the anecdotal examples and you know, the work that we're doing. And this is reassuring because, big picture, I was looking for more of a process improvement and/or what kind of things can we be doing differently to help, you know, change the $187,000 in fines that we've collected over 9 years. So thank you, Angel. I'm optimistic, I'm excited, and I look forward to seeing, you know, our work on that progress and doing more dumpster days with you all. So looking forward to it. And with that, I'll move acceptance of the report with the cross-reference to the council for the 29th of October. Thanks.
Second. Thank you. Councilmember Dewan?
Thank you. Well, thank you for the incredible work. The amount of garbage that we picked up is incredible. And I know that your staff has increased quite a bit, up to 111 employees. And I have to agree with my colleagues that we have to do some type of enforcement, including graffiti as well. We've done education through every single school and through our youth empowerment and so on. At some point, there's got to be consequences in what they do, because it's it's costing our taxpayer in the millions of dollars. And even with the 311 free pickup, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, I'll just throw it out in the street. I'm not going to dial 311 because I'm the one that threw it out in the street, and I'm waiting for the neighbor to get fed up, and then they do the 311. So technically, a lot of time, I know that our city go out there and pick it up really quick when 311 is activated. But majority of the time, stuff sits there for weeks before someone is reporting it. And so it become a behavior modification. I look at it if you happen to study a little bit of psychology, behavior modification, right? Somewhere, even our resident who are dumping that stuff out there, instead of just doing the 311 system, the fine should go to that residence, which is right in front of their house, right? And so according to the report, is over 6,000 mattresses. I guarantee you that wasn't from our homeless. They didn't go out and buy it. That come from our residents. And then when our residents dump all this stuff, it goes to our homeless or unsheltered resident who use it and then dump it into our creek and our, you name it, every part of the city. So, and again, I impress upon you to really make example, not only out of few, a bunch, to make sure people get the message. It's not acceptable. I don't care if you're a resident here, I don't care if you're a billionaire, or whoever you are, it's unacceptable to dump right here in the city when we offer these wonderful programs. And the other thing is, I've gone out, same thing with my colleague here, and I can't count the numbers of time I've gone out there with Beautify San Jose, Keep Coyote Creek, and many other nonprofit organizations to clean our creek. Mattresses, after mattresses, especially when those things are wet, it takes enormous amount of manpower. And then what I see a lot is grocery carts. How do we address that to our, businesses out there that have grocery carts, right? Like Safeway, Walmarts, and so on. I was going to say Kmart. They don't even exist anymore, right, practically. And so we're going to have to force them to put some type of measure that lock those wheels. There's many places that do that. There's a magnet or whatever it is to lock the wheels to stop or unsheltered taking those carts. And I'll tell you, it's so easy to pick the cart off of the street. But when it's down in the creek and it's been, encumbered by garbage and mud, try to dig out one cart. It takes 5 or 6 people almost 30 minutes to dig it out, remove the dirt, remove the garbage in order to haul that cart up to the street. It's extremely hard work. And I hope that, do you have a program, or at least do you address that to our grocery?
You want to take it, Angel?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start.
Go ahead and
I'll
start.
start. This came up during the budget process, late in the budget process, council member, and there's a referral to the code enforcement division to explore and look into this. We're in discussions with them, given that it's private property, but in a public space, right? We have to sort of figure out and tease that out. It's complicated, just like the last item we had, but we do have direction. The city does have direction to look into it, and I'm timing-wise in terms of coming back, I'll defer to Angel.
Yeah, and Andrea's reading my mind. So we got MBA 26 during the budget process, and I see Peter Hamilton up over there and Rachel. They've already started a kind of a preliminary review of, number one, our current enforcement program, 2, the state law that kind of oversees and drives a lot of this. And I'll tell you, just right now, for what we're finding out very in short order here is the state law is a little bit of the problem, but we'll unpack that a little bit more at a future time. And then thirdly, internally, we're folding this into also our re-engineering work around code enforcement in terms of understanding the role and purpose of who does what. Because we also see the intersect as the BSJ teams are out there doing this, they're also coming across, you know, just multitude of cards, right? So we're working on that internally. Initially, based on council direction, we were going to come back before the end of this next fiscal year. We have accelerated that because as we've been out doing this work, we see that it's just something that we just can't, you know, wait. We're going to have to kind of move it a lot quicker because it is a significant issue. So more to come on that. We don't have it all figured out just yet, but we have accelerated the kind of the priority of this, and we're going to be folding this into both the study session that we have on code enforcement in December, and then a subsequent NSC report out. I believe it's in February, if I'm not mistaken. But Peter, Rachel, Chris, Andrea, Olympia, and team, they're already looking into this. So.
Well, I'll look forward to some type of implementation and enforcement, because right there off of Felipe and Story Road, we went out there just within like 2 hours, 40 carts, 40. And now I see it's coming back again, so we're going to have to do another neighborhood cleanup. And that's just only one area. And then if we go down, up and down Coyote Creek, it's impacting our waterways and our wildlife as well. So, well, thank you very much for working on it. And thank you.
Thank you. Just one question, other than we had one commissioner here, other than the comment about enforcement, what was the discussion at the Parks and Rec Commission about this item?
I think we discussed enforcement quite a bit, sort of what would a program look like, what the costs would be, and then they obviously are interested in just the programmatic aspects of it, but for the most part, it was just a good Q&A discussion and education opportunity with our commissioners, but clearly cleanliness in public spaces is a top priority for our commissioners as well as most residents that we hear from.
Sure, great. Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you all for the presentation. And we can move on now to item 3. This is the Park Ranger Annual Report. Avi, are you going to be kicking us off? All right.
Good afternoon, Chair Davis, members of the committee. My name is Avi Otam. I'm Deputy Director of Parks in the Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services Department, joined today by Division Manager Shannon Heimer and Supervising Ranger Hui Mack. We're here today to provide our status report for the 2023-2024 year with highlights, accomplishments, as well as challenges, and a look at our current work plan for this year. When we were here last year at this time in October 2023, we highlighted that our park ranger program had really reached a low in its staffing, and with that we had initiated a multi-year rebuilding program of hiring, training, and development. We're pleased with our progress so far and are optimistic about the moves we've made to fill our vacancies and what's to come. With that, I'll turn it over to Supervising Ranger Hui Mack.
As journalist rangers, we serve as stewards for the park system, providing public safety services including wildland fire suppression, medical responses, search and rescue, and rules enforcement, while protecting, preserving natural and cultural resources and inspiring future generations to enjoy nature. We provide crucial maintenance and restorative work on our natural and cultural resources within city parks, as well as offering nature-based programming for individuals of all ages and abilities to love the outdoors and encourage access to the city's park system. We educate and enforce state and local laws and enforce park rules so that park visitors can enjoy their visit, aiming to resolve situations at the lowest appropriate level of enforcement. We were often first on scene for medicals, fires, and other emergencies in the parks.
This has been an active year for the Ranger program with a lot of positive changes and growth. The Ranger program made some strategic promotions and hirings, starting with hiring one senior Ranger who returned to us from County Corrections where she was a deputy. Lena Romero, who's with us here today, started her career as a park ranger with the city almost a decade ago, and we were pleased to have her return to us, bringing with her her expertise in field training and team leadership. One internal park ranger promoted to senior park ranger, Danny Wynn, and he will be an asset to our field training program with 8 years of experience with our program. One of our senior rangers, Wee Mac, was promoted to supervising ranger and brings 10 years of expertise with our program, as well as a fresh perspective on achieving a generalist ranger model and addressing community needs in parks. We have also hired 2 line-level rangers with unique backgrounds that will help us grow the program. These new hires will be attending Ranger Academy at the South Bay Regional Public Safety Consortium, which includes the required law enforcement training, as well as certifications for wildland fire suppression, emergency medical response, crisis intervention training, and certified interpretive guide. We have just completed the interview process for the last senior park ranger vacancy, and after the background review process, hope to have this external candidate with several years of experience in a lead park ranger role join our team by the end of the year. We are actively recruiting for part-time park ranger assistants, and as the reclassification process for the chief park ranger position is completed, a recruitment for this position and the remaining supervising ranger position will begin. Recruitment efforts have seen a 14% improvement for line-level rangers over the last year, and we continue to focus on growing the program through hiring as well as investing in our current staff through training. As I previously stated, we have hired 2 line-level rangers who will be going to Academy in January 2025. We also have 4 candidates in background process right now that once that is completed, they would also attend Academy in January. Over the last year, we also completed the transition of our 8 part-time park rangers who are not peace officers to a new classification, park ranger assistant. The park ranger assistants have been focusing on direct visitor service, including but not limited to fire suppression and medical responses. This entry level creates a pipeline into the park ranger positions, making a more accessible entry point with the education requirement being reduced from 60 college units to 30 units. The park ranger assistants have the opportunity to train and work with rangers in interpretation, search and rescue, emergency medical response, wildland fire, as well as resource management. They have the opportunity to obtain the training and professional certifications in these core areas as they complete their education that will prepare them to apply for a park ranger position. The park ranger assistant is also a great classification for skilled staff retired from other park and public safety agencies to join our team.
The park ranger team has handled some significant events over the last year. Some of the notable events include the reopening of Alum Rock Park after the winter storm damage, suppressing multiple fires in and around Kelly Park, and presenting 67 interpretive programming, participating in 3 Viva Calle San Jose events, and participating in the Silicon Valley Pride Parade. As part of the Activate SJ principles of stewardship, nature, and equity and access, the Rangers continue to partner with the Santa Clara Public Health Department Juntos Initiative to lead walks and introduce people to their parks and the health benefits that can be obtained from regular visits to open spaces and natural areas. The team also supported an outdoor equity grant by providing programming and connecting visitors to parks. We programmed at Emmerprouche Park, where visitors learn about the history of the farm and participate in butter making. We also went out to the Washington Community Center and shared the importance of recycling and being environmental stewards. Another highlight for the program is the implementation of the body-worn cameras to provide transparency and accountability to the community. And our Parks Department is one of the first ranger programs to deploy them in this area. As always, our ranger program provides for the protection of both our visitors and natural resources. We have been focusing most of our efforts in Alum Rock Park and Kelly Park, which are the 2 most heavily used regional parks. During the year, we responded to 108 public safety events, including 35 fire events. We also conducted over 1,200 enforcement contacts and in keeping with the department's philosophy of using the lowest appropriate level of enforcement to resolve a violation, we cleared 97% of our contacts with education or a warning. As we continue into the 2024-25 fiscal year, our work plan will continue to focus on rebuilding our program with a strong, generous Ranger Corps and reestablishing the Ranger presence in our city parks, as well as making the Ranger program known across the city and state. This starts with investing in our Ranger team through training to provide the community the service they deserve and focusing on being leaders in environmental protection. Another major project for the work plan is collaborating on the Park Ranger Apprenticeship Program in cooperation with the Bay Area Community College Consortium, the State of California Division of Apprenticeship Standards, and the West Valley College Park Management Program. This multi-step apprenticeship program can serve as another pipeline for the Ranger field by supporting candidates through their college coursework and providing paid work experience while they work their way towards a Park Ranger Assistant program or position and ultimately to a Park Ranger position if they choose so. In closing, I'd like to say that the Park Ranger program is definitely on the right track for regrowing our numbers and achieving the right balance of public safety and visitor services desired by our community. The Park Ranger is excited about the future and looking forward to servicing the San Jose community. Thank you, and we're available for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on this item?
We have no public comment.
Okay, thanks. We'll go to my colleagues. Councilmember Dewan.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report. I'm glad to see that you got some good recruitments and filled those numbers, that park ranger that we needed. Now, I've looked at the number of warning and citation have gone way down after, I believe it's 2021. At one point, we gave out over 11,000 warnings. And at this point, 2024, we got like 1,100. And I think it's not about punitive, the warning is about education as well. And I think again, it's always back to the enforcement, right? From having alcohol in the parks and any other violation and illegal camping and so on. And I think enforcement is a huge part to making sure that our citizens feel safe when they use the park. And also by those warnings, it's also help keeping our park clean as well. And I just want to say thank you so much for all your hard work and congratulations, and move to accept the report.
Thank you. Yeah, I also want to thank you for the report. I do have just one question, and just to be clear, it's the commission has asked me to do this in public since it doesn't always show up in the reports. The Parks Commission, I know, heard this item. What were their comments about or questions about this item?
Thank you, Councilmember. It was a good discussion, presentation, couple good questions about recruitment and what that's looked like, the history of recruitment, the history even going back 10 years of how the program, the ebbs and flows, focus on training. We discussed the focus on training. We also discussed a bit about how the Ranger program doesn't do education enforcement alone. It's a big city, lots of parks. So we work with other agencies, not internal agencies, internal partners, San Jose PD, Fire, but we've also worked with San Jose Conservation Corps and our own internal special park use team on unpermitted events. So we talked a bit about that.
And adding to that a little bit too, we haven't given up on the other parks. Our primary focus is Alum Rock and Kelly Park, but we're also working with PD captains for the different areas just to keep those parks on our radar. So when we do go back out to those parks, we know what's going on. We have the hot spots. We're tracking those as well.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. Can you talk a little bit about the discussion, the challenges to hiring?
Yeah, one of the challenges for us with the hiring, and we've reduced some of the qualifications, or kind of made it an easier approach to get into the process. So initially it was either you're a park ranger, you have all these skill sets already to go into it. We're serving as a training, team. So we are looking for rangers or candidates who have the desire to become rangers. We have them on board and we give them the necessary training to become park rangers and part of our system. So we're rebuilding the team in a multi-year process that way.
Okay, so kind of developing our own in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's been really helpful for a lot of professions, actually, that we're having to build our own bench, so it makes sense. Thank you. Was there something you wanted to add?
Thank you, council member. I was just going to also add that the profession in general has struggled a bit over the past 5-8 years also. So we've, one of the focuses that we and his supervising Ranger Mac and his rangers have taken is getting back out there in terms of what is a ranger and what does it look like to be a ranger for us, and being very specific about we connect with people. We connect with people first, and whether that takes us to education interpretation or over to the enforcement side. Also, we're there to help in first responders, emergencies and parks. And if you want to serve, it's a great thing to do. And so they've taken that tact, a lot of resource fairs, education fairs, but across the board, and we've worked with two of our closest agencies, nearby County and Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space, around that same tact. So regional approach as well as the internal things we're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you again for your report. All in favor of the motion? Oh, Councilmember Candelas actually pressed his button. I missed it. Sorry, Councilmember Candelas.
Your questioning prompted questioning for me. So,
got it.
Brief points. Thank you for the work that you do. Last year's report, we were very concerned about staffing. Especially with the pending retirement of the chief park ranger. So now I'm really optimistic of the future of our park ranger program. So, but I do want to do two things. One is advocate for more park ranger presence at Lake Cunningham. That's something I've heard from residents, and I didn't hear it come up, and it's one of 2 regional parks, or 3 regional parks technically, that we have in our city, so I'd love to see more activation and more presence, and I know you talked a little bit about working with our police department of how you deploy, but even, activations, whether it's, we had a bio blitz 2 weeks ago, maybe leaning in on that to see some kind of programming, and I'm looking at Avi to see how we can work the park ranger program within Lake Cunningham, and that way we get more people out and educate and kind of build that back up at the park. So that's one, and two is question is how you work with the security guard company, and do you work with and how is that relationship? Maybe can anybody speak to that?
Yeah, so currently right now we're working with Good Guard for Lake Cunningham. And so communication, they'll send us their schedule, we'll work with them, but they heavily work with the park facility supervisor at that site to kind of see what's going on, the trends and everything else. They'll report to us, we add it to a tracker to make sure, okay, is this an ongoing issue? If it is, we do targeted approaches for that park, for Emma Prush, as well as another heavily used area for us. So okay. As we expand, we'll hopefully work into those areas as well.
Okay. Cool. Well, no, that's good. That's good to know. But again, I think just even more of a presence, a regular presence, whether it's I'm not at Lake Cunningham 24/7, so I can't say you guys are not there. But I have heard it from a couple of my neighbors. It's like, hey, we used to see the ranger all the time, and I'm like, well, we actually just added money in the budget for that. So I'd love to see that at Lake Cunningham, and with that, I keep up the good work, and I hope to see you out there. Thank you.
All right. Now I'm checking the list and there's nobody there. So all in favor of the motion? Aye. Aye. That motion carries. Thank you again. And we are on to open forum.
We have no public comment.
Okay. Then we are adjourned at 3:15.